Time magazine has revealed their Person of the Year for 2017, which has sparked controversy. Now, their Person of the Year isn't what you would expect. In fact, it is the movement of hashtag #MeToo, the silence breakers, the people behind the hashtag #MeToo, to grace the cover and to be the highlight for their Person of the Year. Why are they trying to do this? Well, it's quite simple. It's so that feminists can rag on men. Problem is, they made no mention of Corey Feldman and no mention of the male victims who came out during this hashtag #MeToo movement, including those who came out against Kevin Spacey. It's important to note that Corey Feldman was kind of one of the people who originally started this entire campaign against revealing the sexual assault culture inside Hollywood. So why was he left out of this article? Well, it could be because men are not treated the same in regards to sexual assault and rape as women are. Well, I will say this, they did make one short mention of Terry Crews, the African-American male actor that had come out with sexual abuse allegations in Hollywood, but could it be that the only reason they made mention of him, given that he's a male, is because he can fit inside the minority box? Of the women pictured throughout the Time magazine article, you can see Tarana Burke, a women's rights activist, Ashley Judd, the infamous nasty woman who adamantly came out against President Trump, and you can also see Melissa Alano, who was one of the main characters behind the Weinstein allegations. Now, what's interesting to note is that this does seem to be a hit piece against President Trump, and many liberal Democrat advocates have been coming out saying that this is great, this is showing Trump as the Person of the Year, in essence, by showing all of these women that are coming out with sexual abuse allegations. This Time magazine piece seems to be an effort upon Time magazine to talk about how abused immigrant women are, how abused our members of LGBTQ communities are, and how abused women are, in a way to kind of slight President Trump, who apparently was one of the nominees for Time magazine's Person of the Year. During the campaign season, some women came out with allegations against President Trump that he sexually assaulted them, whether he touched them or maybe tried to kiss them. They were very minor occurrences of what somebody might constitute sexual harassment. Compare that with the actual brutal rapes and assaults that have occurred on women is actually taking away from the severity of the real horrendous violent sexual assaults that have occurred, such as on women like Juanita Broderick and Kathleen Willey and the women who came out against Bill Clinton. But notice that Time magazine excludes those women from their article. Why aren't they on the cover of Time magazine? Why weren't they mentioned? Well, it's because this is essentially a hit piece on their political opponents, which happen to be President Trump, Roy Moore, and members of the Republican Party. Notice that they also left out the accusers of Democratic Senator Al Franken. Get my point? Men were crucial to the beginning formation of the hashtag #MeToo movement, but the feminists are now stealing it and essentially excluding them and using it as a vehicle to demonize and hate on men and masculinity. So feminists, you want to talk about masculinity being the cause of all of these sexual assaults out there on women? Let's look at some facts here. Psychology Today cites reviewed forensic evidence that actually shows that convicted rapists were more likely to be disadvantaged young men who were seen undesirable as dating partners. Beta males. Disadvantaged, meaning not privileged males. They were the disadvantaged that nobody wanted to date. So the argument that these feminists are making that masculinity is behind all of these rapes and sexual assaults just isn't true according to scientific facts and statistics. Let's talk about who actually is typically raped for reasons of power, control, and violence. Men. And in fact, it is greatly underreported. According to the Department of Defense, experts say males are also victims of sexual assault. And in fact, they are way less likely to actually report their sexual assault because they find that men carry a lot more shame because the reasons for rape and the reasons for why a man won't come out about rape are entirely different. As an example, in the military, 10,800 men are sexually assaulted or raped every year, whereas only 8,000 women in the military are sexually assaulted or raped every year. And of those men that are sexually assaulted or raped, only 13% actually come forward and report it, whereas disproportionately 40%, or should I say 39%, of women come forward and report their sexual assaults. So that means that the numbers that we know today might actually be greatly off based on the fact that we need more men to actually come out and talk about it. Hashtag Me Too. It seems as though the men are not participating as much in the Me Too as the women are. So in essence, they're trying to diminish the statistics surrounding real sexual assaults as to not account for the sexual assaults against men that are greatly underreported, while at the same time over-examining and over-representing sexual assaults that women report because they're trying to skew what it means to actually be sexually assaulted, all to create the illusion that men and masculinity are this horrible, horrible problem that society needs to deal with, and that women need to essentially dominate and subjugate men to get rid of this problem.
I'm so excited. The new product at InfoWarsLife.com in a glass bottle, 2-month servings, filled to the brim, filled to the absolute top, the real red pill. This is a heart and brain pill, a nootropic that doesn't have any stimulants in it. But boy, does it stimulate, because it's beyond that. Quite frankly, I just went off what I saw medical doctors prescribing to their patients, but it wasn't prescription, but they were charging people $100, $200 for the formulae. And I came up with our own formula, working with some scientists and developers, non-GMO, made right here in America, 120 capsules. And ladies and gentlemen, you add the pregnenolone to it, which is the precursor to all the hormones that your body has to have to even make the hormones in your glands. It is amazing. Red pill, now available at InfoWarsStore.com, and your purchase funds the operation.